Hey guys, how's it going? I'm harvesting these bok choy here because they're bolting, going to flower, then to seed. Out here in the mild winter, we pretty much are finishing up with the winter greens. So I'm picking these up. Let's just see how much I have, and if there's enough, I'll do a stir fry. Otherwise, usually when you cook foods, it's going to, you're going to lose a lot of the mass. So instead, I might just make like a salad, a giant salad with this, because the greens are actually so oh, the leaves are so tender, so succulent and juicy. They're so good. I bet these are really good as wraps too, because the leaves are actually really big. Let's see. Oh my god. They're so tender. Anyway, in this video, so you guys know that the coronavirus has been going on. The death toll, the death rate is still growing each day. So it's a very sad situation, and kind of just want to talk to you guys a little bit about that and how to prepare, for situations like that, and why we should be growing our own food. Let's come sit down and we'll have a chat. Some of you guys may know about the coronavirus that's been going on right now. The death rate is growing still each and every day in different parts of the world, but especially in China, since that's where it all began. So basically, what I heard is that this virus, or different types of viruses that are so deadly, is basically, a lot of them, like back in the days, tracing back to the SARS days in China and in Hong Kong. It killed so many people, it affected so many lives, and a lot of people had to be quarantined. And what they actually found from the SARS virus was that they ended up finding them in bats, like I think it's like a more like insect-eating kind of bats in the wild. So that's where they traced out that virus to. And so they were saying that these, same as the coronavirus, it's something, like in the forest, in the wild, there's a lot of different kind of viruses. There are like beneficial insects, beneficial bacteria, but also some that are not, that are harmful. And so they actually live in the wild, latching on trees or certain types of animals. And so when you remove these elements, like these plants or these animals, out of its natural home, and you bring it out to, say, a lot of like the markets with wet markets, or certain types of like specialty markets would sell them as a delicacy for a more expensive price, because they're more like wild, unusual type of animals that they sell for people to consume. And so what happens is, if these viruses are attached to or living on these animals or these trees or plants that you're removing from the forest, they have lost their home, and so they would need to find another host to, I guess, to nourish them. And so what they would do is start jumping on other animals or other humans. And these sort of viruses actually would mutate, their genes would mutate very quickly to adapt. That's how strong they are. And so people and animals would get sick. So in situations like that, I mean, you can totally, if that is the case, like they say, then the situation can totally be avoided if you respect nature and respect things the way how they are, the way how they're made, where they're supposed to live. If we don't extract them from the wild, or not, and if you're not cautious of that, you're going to be affecting the lives of many. And so this is basically the situation that we've come to. As much as there's so much stuff that can offer you from the wild, but we can't just take that way, and not be careful and know of the possible consequences. Oh, by the way, Lula, want to say hi to everyone? This is Lula, everyone. She wants to be on camera too. So yeah, so basically, I mean, if you grow your own food, this is not going to be an issue, you know. And because of this virus that's been going on everywhere, everyone is taking a lot of caution to this situation. My aunt was visiting from Vietnam, and she was actually trying to buy mouth guards here because they're sold out or they're super expensive in Vietnam and different parts of China. Even I think I've heard of even from Scotland. They're everywhere. They're raising the price of mouth guards or surgical masks because, you know, people think that it's going to help block, you know, like being contagious or prevent, you know, people getting these viruses. And the truth is that actually they've, you know, done tests on it and say that those masks they don't work all that well. But I think something about psychologically that you think having the mouth guard on would help you. So anyway, the mouth guards, the hand sanitizers are really they're basically sold out there. Otherwise you'll find them and they'll be super expensive. I even tried to find them on like Amazon Prime for my family since they were visiting in the States for a short time. Try to get them so they can bring them back home, but even on Amazon Prime was sold out. But anyway, you know, people have been crazy using hand sanitizers, and I think that's something you don't need to, well, how should I put this? You can use hand sanitizers, but it's not something that's meant to replace washing your hands, because sometimes I see people, that's all they do. They don't wash their hands. They just, before they eat, each time they want to touch something and want to be clean, they would put hand sanitizers on. And it's actually like it only works like once or twice. Like, you're not supposed to keep using that as if it's like water and soap. So I would say that each time when water and soap, like washing your hands, is an option, do that instead of using hand sanitizers. Like, hand sanitizer is supposed to be something if you can't get a hold of clean water and soap. Sorry guys, neighbors that way is like coughing. Yeah. Anyway, so a lot of places in Asia, they're just going so nuts about buying food also, like rice. Rice is usually the first thing that the price would increase because in Asia, rice is a staple. And so people are going to the grocery stores and they're buying food. They're buying packaged food, processed food, dried foods, food to store in the house, on top of having bags of rice. They're like 50-pound bags of rice, you know. So the markets would raise the price of these up. They also spread rumors, which I don't know if it's true or not, but what I heard is that they're saying that they're going to run out of they're going to run out of inventory in these grocery stores soon, and they can't import that much more from China or different parts of the world because of this whole like coronavirus situation. And so the market might even shut down, and it's just so chaotic out there, which I totally understand the fear and the concern of everyone out there. And even places out in LA, I'm seeing more in Asian communities, people are being so afraid of the situation and they're being so cautious right now. You're not seeing that much people at restaurants. The grocery store is either more quiet, or once in a while you get the crazy rush of people trying to buy as much things as they think they would need, just in case the market shuts down, you know. And so that's what like my dad was actually saying to me, that he wanted to go out and pick out some food just in case, you know, because he heard that the market might shut down. And that's when I kind of came to me and I realized, like, wow, this is a whole other big thing, like why growing your own food is such a plus, because you're not only growing things that are in your own standards, you know, high quality, nutrient dense food, but you're growing medicinal herbs. Well, I grow medicinal herbs, or if you have fruit trees and leafy greens, you have a sustainable garden, a garden that will, you know, is self-sustaining. You don't have to be concerned about not getting fresh foods, especially at times like these for, you know, certain neighborhoods. You don't have to fight over people and pay a lot for the foods that are not even that great of quality. And then you can't really store, especially if you want fresh food. People going out to the grocery stores are not rushing to buy fresh produce. They're going there to buy like instant noodles or I don't know, jerkies or something, and chips, and maybe if you're American you buy like peanut butter. Sorry, I don't mean to stereotype. But yeah, you know, they're mostly buying food that can store, which is, I think it's important. And so like if I were to go out to the grocery store and say, hey, I need to buy these foods just to prepare myself for situations like natural disasters, earthquakes, or in this situation the virus outbreak, I would actually think if you're not growing pumpkins or gourds, buy those, because those would actually store for months. I've stored gourds or pumpkins for 10 months or even a year, up to a year, and they still look great as long as you keep them in a proper area, more cool, dark space, cool, dry, dark space. They would last for a while, so that you can have somewhat of a fresh, you know, whole foods stored in your house. Of course, there's peanut butter or different types of nut butters out there, almond, cashew butters, you know, things like that. And the more natural or organic products won't have the what do you call it, preservatives in there. So you might want to switch them out because their shelf life isn't as long as the conventional like peanut butter, things like that. But you know, you can always just eat them and kind of rotate and change out a new batch every 6 months or something, you know. And another thing I would love to buy would be like nuts, because you can eat them as snacks. They're good, you know, amino acids, good minerals in there, proteins, good fats, and they would be filling for the tummy when there's little food around. You can also make nut butters on your own, make your own nut milk. They also don't require a refrigerator to store. And what else would I buy? Seaweeds, dried, high mineral content, trace minerals, sort of food that you can use as wraps or throw them in soups. And you can buy seeds for doing microgreens or sprouting. You can even pick up some beans, like even mung beans, organic mung beans or black beans, or different types of beans, and the bulk section at the grocery store, so that you can you know, get them fairly cheap and sprout, germinate your own fresh foods. And then on top of that, you have fresh leafy greens grown in your own garden. This is abundance of supply that you will always have as long as you have water. as long as there is water, rain, or water running. But anyway, that just kind of made me realize how wonderful it is to have a garden, you know, supplying yourself with this fresh food when the whole like world of people are going insane about trying to buy dried foods and foods to store in case of natural disasters. And if I grow my own, that wouldn't be an issue for me. Another thing I want to mention would be the microgreens. If you guys want to grow microgreens, actually the best ones to grow, I think, at times when food is kind of scarce, would be sweet peas, because sweet peas, after you harvest them, you can actually wait for them and they would grow again, so you can get like a second or even a third harvest out of the same seeds that you use. So let me show you guys what I'm talking about here. So this entire tray of sweet peas I actually have harvested the first time already, so you can see when you look down, they're cut. They're cut, you see? But they're actually getting side shoots that are growing out. And look at this abundance. So you put down those seeds once and you can harvest these microgreens a good number of times. I don't know how many times, I haven't actually tested, but it has grown back like 2 times so far. So I think that's really awesome. And maybe by the time you're done having the microgreens, you can even put them in the ground and grow sweet pea plants, so you can harvest the sweet peas and the pods to eat. Another thing I would buy is reusable items, you know, especially for women, for your periods. There are actually reusable pads, period cups, underwears for your menstruation. Hi. And yeah, so I really love that it's, you know, something that you can reuse or recycle, would not produce waste. They also save you a lot of money, because I like to buy the more unbleached, at least the unbleached or the organic pads, which would cost quite a bit of money. So yeah, I really love to have those around. Especially, you wouldn't have to be worried about, oh, I gotta go run to the store and buy some more, especially if you hear about things like the store might run out of things and they might shut down temporarily or something. Having something that's reusable would not be an issue. So and yeah, some herbs, you know, some medicinal herbs that you might want to have around your house. I always like even having like slippery elm, or some things that you can even grow medicinal herbs in the garden, you know. Even something as rosemary that most of you guys might be growing if you're growing herbs. It's actually quite medicinal. Or oregano. You can make things, you can boil the tea, it's extracted to do like a disinfect, has antibacterial properties in there. Some even have like antiviral properties. So you can buy essential oils of like oregano, essential oils, or you can grow your own and make your fresh batch, mix it with, you know, some light dish soap or vinegar, dilute it and spray and clean up the house and places. You can even boil oregano in a pot and breathe it in to kind of, you know, kill any sort of like bacteria in your respiratory system. So I really love that there's actually a number of natural ways that you can do as preventatives, or to spike up your immune system. And most importantly, of course, eating fresh leafy greens to boost your immunity, so that you can combat anything that comes your way. So anyway, thank you so much, you guys, for listening to me as I'm just kind of I guess sometimes I'm thinking out loud, but I really appreciate that you guys took the time to listen. Let me know in the comments down below, if you were in like a natural disaster or some sort of situation, what would be the items that you would purchase for your own family? Leave them in the comments down below. Anyway, I hope you guys are well and healthy, and eat your greens, eat your fresh foods, and like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed this video. There's going to be lots more gardening videos coming out very soon. You can follow me on Facebook or Instagram, where I do instant updates of my life, of what I'm growing, what I'm eating, where I'm at. Yeah, and if you'd like to support me, I do have some seeds available at my shop. I will leave the links of everything that I just mentioned just below this video. I'm really grateful for your views and your support. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you right back here very soon. Stay well, guys.